Hey ladies, this is Mocha Mommy here bringing you another video, and in this video we need to have a real talk about the real numbers involving the skilled trades. As many of you know, I'm part of a lot of community service organizations, and one of these community service organizations want to do an outreach for young adults when it comes to preparing them for the new job market. So of course there are a lot of different people who I am professionally and socially connected to, and we're talking about ways that we can reach out to young people in the community to let them know about their educational career options. And of course, some snarky, sassy male has to come around talking about, what about the skilled trades? You've all ladies been to college. What about the skilled trades? There's not enough respect for the skilled trades. So I've decided to break down the skilled trades by the numbers. So using my classy clapback skills, I let this snarky male know that he could have several seats. Because while on the community college level, I worked with both registered and vocational nurses. I was then promoted to an allied health instructor where I worked with laboratory technicians, radiology and biomed technicians, pharmacy technicians, and now in my role as a clinical preceptor, I still help a lot of those people who have associate's degrees or who are certified in healthcare to get promoted, whether they want management or advanced clinical skills. I still am the person who helps to facilitate that. Not to mention, two of the women on the board were engineers, and they're used to working with skilled tradesmen all the time. So they're very familiar with what they do and how they get educated and how they can get hired. So although we had more of a traditional education, we are very well aware of vocational opportunities and what it can offer for young people. So the spreading of the rhetoric of these angry microphone males have somehow caught on to this thing that women and their college education don't respect men and their vocational education. Here's the numbers broken down. That 1999, there were about 9.6 million Americans involved in the skilled trade. That number increased in 2014 to about 16 million. So this is even before Mike Rowe had dirty jobs. That proliferated the conversation around America's need for more skilled tradesmen. And as the recession began to hit and student loans began to skyrocket, we've seen a huge increase in the amount of high school students showing interest and having exposure to the skilled trades. About 8.3 million high school students between 20 and 2021 have been educated about opportunities within the skilled trades. So according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, we are seeing an increase in those enrolled in vocational education, but still, of the 350 million Americans, only 560,000 people are enrolled in vocational education. That includes those who are doing hands-on apprenticeships or in classroom learning. In fact, of that very small number of 560,000 enrolled, 10% of all new incoming skilled tradesmen are women. It's because the idea and the definition of skilled tradesmen has really expanded into IT, healthcare, financial services, and skilled industrial manufacturing. So an increasing number of women are very well aware of the opportunities that the skilled trades and vocational education can be for themselves and also for their romantic partners. Not to mention the fact that women are 4 to 6 times more likely to be a homeowner. Trust me, we know how much HVAC costs, and we know that the majority of those expenses goes to labor. Women have watched thousands and thousands of hours of HGTV and understand completely what a man in the skilled trades can bring to the table as far as wealth, provisions, security, and a future. And not to mention all the mothers, aunties, grandmas, cousins, big sisters, girlfriends, and wives who have begged for their non-productive men who are not gainfully employed to enter the skilled trades as a way of providing for themselves and their families in the future. It's not that women don't respect men in the skilled trades, it's just that women don't respect unproductive men. We're still looking at one of the biggest crises of and underemployed males in American history. We're still looking at the fact that a lot of men are not even participating in the workforce, that they're in fact spending more time than ever on screens, not socializing, not getting educated, and definitely not working towards gainful employment. Let's just take a look. We have around 550,000 men who have enrolled in the skilled trades. And we have about 18 to 19 million men who are currently working in the skilled trades. All right. 100 million men, mostly between the ages of 18 and 34, downloaded the 20th anniversary edition of Call of Duty. The fact that more men are spending more time on screen has a lot more to do with your unemployability and the lack of respect that you're out here gaining in the world than the fact that women don't respect men in the skilled trades. Now, that's not to say that all men who play video games are unproductive males, but at the same time, we do know that it's been proven time and time again that male academic advancement and professional development has been hindered by the amount of time that they spend on screens. So, of course, I see the irony and the hypocrisy of these podcast bros who talk about things that men will never be able to control, like women's reproductive choices and how we choose to date and mate, but don't talk about things that men can control directly, which is the amount of time they spend on screen and how it impacts their social, economic, and academic opportunities. I find it really ironic that these podcast bros feel as if they can speak for blue-collar men or guys in the skilled trades being overlooked because they have traditional masculine values, but then fail to speak for these men when they stood up for their traditional masculine values to be able to provide for their families when they hit the picket lines this summer, including the Teamster strike that included CDL, commercial driver's license holders, forklift operators, mechanics, and other skilled tradesmen. They also failed to speak for the men who were in industrial hygiene and high-end manufacturing for Abbott Laboratories when they were on strike for better benefits, to include medical care and parental leave, and the same thing for the Hormel workers who are mostly butchers and meat handlers, and also men who are participating in industrial hygiene. So it seems as if the podcast bros forgot all about these traditional men and how they were striking for increased parental leave, better medical benefits, safer working conditions so that they can provide for their families. So these podcast bros feel very comfortable when it comes to speaking for blue-collar men on the dating market, but didn't at all lend the sizable power of their digital platforms to advocate for these men in the skilled trades when it came to their challenges in the economic or business marketplace. The reality is the strides that women have gained in education and in economics really is not the biggest cause of men and their lack of access, whether it be sexual or economic. Men have a real problem because so many of their formative social learning and earning years takes place where they're spending so many hours on digital entertainment and digital misinformation that they're really cutting off economic opportunities for themselves before they even get a chance, getting a very late start in the economic market, but at the same time giving video game companies and digital media platforms some of the biggest economic windfalls, even in light of a recession. Again, we can't blame all male economic problems on digital entertainment and video games, but we've seen time and time again that it is a contributing factor to their poor social and academic development, which plays out later in life. And even when we're having the most sexless generation of men, it seems as if they tend to focus on these digital media platforms that don't really give them the information and the skill set necessary to really change the things that they can change. They keep complaining about women and their behavior and their standards or their stupidity, where that stupidity doesn't even exist. We as women are very well aware of the skilled trades. We as women patron a lot of skilled trades. We as women participate in the skilled trades and in increasing numbers. So we're very well aware of the benefits of it. The problem is a lot of these men are not skilled labor. They are unskilled labor, and they are very easily replaceable, and they really don't have a lot of economic leverage in today's economy. The 7.2 million American men who no longer participate in the workforce are a huge audience and is a large part of the demographic that feed into these gaming platforms that facilitate international play, and also a large viewership of some of these digital podcast bro platforms, simply because they're able to broadcast live during the day because so much of their audience doesn't work. These red pill ragers will always have a bunch of criticism for women, always have a bunch of criticism for some feminist system that really doesn't exist, but never create any actionable or any real change for any of these men because they refuse to be honest with them. The reality is that the little over 500,000 men who are entering the skilled trades right now are not having problems with respect or having problems in the sexual marketplace. Many of the men who are on the picket lines, who are in the skilled trades, were doing it for their families. So it's not as if these are a bunch of single, lonely guys. But I'm just letting you ladies know, be aware of the demographic that you're arguing with. I kept my clapbacks very classy with this whiny guy because the reality is he's not going to come up with any solutions. I can guarantee you he's not going to show up to the next few meetings and he's not going to do anything really actionable. So it's almost as if arguing and proving myself was almost not really a point, and really handing out our business cards to this guy because we know he's not going to do anything about it because most of them don't. We'll see if he shows up for future meetings. I highly doubt it. And if he's going to actually be solution oriented, I really feel that he was just there to complain, like many of these red pill ragers do. And hopefully, ladies, we can just be honest about this demographic, and because they can't be honest with themselves. They have so many Bill Gates conspiracy theories, but yet will have no problem giving 5 hours of their day to Microsoft Xbox, which is a Bill Gates invention. So again, we really can't take these arguments seriously because we just have to look at the numbers. They can come up with all kinds of statistics from the back of the internet and all up underneath Google, but won't look at the very obvious solutions to a very real problem. This is Mocha Mommy, and I'll see you in the next video.